Hey everyone, Matt ESC United. It's your favorite Eurovision channel. Welcome to Mattitude, the Eurovision live stream where we talk, you guessed it right, Eurovision, and answer your questions. I am Matt, I just said that, but it bears repeating, I guess. And I will be your host, and I'm so glad that you are all showing up for another hopefully fun and entertaining episode. There is a lot to cover, and I will dive into it fairly quickly. I'm just waiting for a few of you to finally show up in the chat, and I see a good amount of them already there. Hello, Rose Gold. Hi, Matt. There is R1, Risi. Hi, Matt. Hi, right back at you. Mari KH is right there as well. So we have a lot of you joining us here, a lot to talk about. It's going to be a fairly laid back kind of thing today. So just bear with me as we're going through the topics. I basically only have 2 topics for today, and we'll go from there. And as always, just as a quick reminder, I will talk through the topics real quick, and then at the end, I will answer the questions in regards to that topic. And at the very end, so ask relevant questions to that specific topic, and then at the very end, we have an open Q&A where you can ask away, if you will, and then I answer any of your questions. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of what is your favorite song, blah, blah, blah. Always get that. But anyway, let's dive right into it. And it is, these are interesting times, to say the least, and I'm not pretending that that big elephant in the room isn't there, and this is what's all on our minds, and I gotta talk about it, right? And it doesn't matter where you are, you folks in Europe or me here in the United States, we're all affected by COVID-19, also known as the coronavirus. I'm sure you all know, if you don't, then this is a problem, that there is a lot going on everywhere or in so many countries. This virus has forced the governments to shut down schools for a certain amount of time, large events and gathering over a number of 100 or something like that have been banned. They are no longer going to happen. Many countries, including mine, the United States, are closing their borders. You have Italy. There's so many of them that are just like, we're on shutdown. Like, the world is on shutdown, and until further notice, and it is frightening, it is weird, and it's just something that we never ever really had to deal with. People are hunkering down, self-quarantine themselves. We call it also, in many cases where you don't quarantine yourself, it's social distancing, right? Where you're trying to avoid exposure to any people or keep it at a bare minimum. And as you all know, it's now labeled, the whole coronavirus thing, as a pandemic, which is, again, the word is frightening and scary, but it's very important for people to understand the significance and what it can and cannot do. Now, as I pointed out, in Europe, a lot is happening, just like here in the United States. Here in the US, as you know, we have a useless and ineffective federal government that finally, though, declared a national emergency, which is good. It gives us, I think, $50 billion to fight this pandemic. We don't even have the things here. I don't even have the ability to get tested right now. How scary is that? Like, if I had any symptoms, I wouldn't know. I would just have to stay home and hope for the best, I guess. It's very frightening. That's how ineffective they are. Fortunately, local governments and state government have been picking up the slack here. They stepped in, and they have started shutting down events before the Trump administration even bothered to do anything. And, whether it's, again, schools, all of that stuff. Before, our clown in chief did not do anything. So anyway, we have issues here as well, and, we just got to take precautions. So, as you know, all of this stuff is frightening, right? It's scary enough. And now, of course, what's on our minds here is what's going to happen to our beloved Eurovision Song Contest. I think we all can consider this a large gathering of people. I mean, it's the biggest music event in the world. So yes, that is a problem. Now, let's talk this through. There is a few information I wanted to share with you first. Some of you are probably aware of it, but if not, I want to make sure everyone knows about it. We got several statements. Let's talk about the statement that was released by the EBU. Okay? So it says, the EBU is closely monitoring the situation concerning the spread of the coronavirus and keeping abreast, I love that word, of the latest advice and guidelines from the WHO and national health authorities. We are working closely with Dutch host broadcasters NPO, NOS, and Avrotoast, and the city of Rotterdam to explore different potential scenarios for the Eurovision Song Contest 2020. However, with 2 months to go until the 3 live shows on the 12th, 14th, and 16th of May, and the rapidly changing situation both in the Netherlands and the countries of the participating broadcasters, it is still too early to make any final decisions. With this in mind, we're continuing to work together as a team on preparations to host the 65th Eurovision Song Contest in Rotterdam. So this is the official statement by the EBU. As of right now, preparations are still ongoing because it's a little bit further out still, so it is premature to make final decisions, right? But time is running out. Let's not say we still have a few weeks, but it goes fast. Time flies. And Rotterdam's mayor, and his name is Ahmed Boudataleb, has said that the decision on how to proceed should be made by April 5th or 6th, the latest, right? And that's not far out. I think that's in 3 weeks. And that's why the organizers are starting to build. At that moment is when they're all starting to build the stage. And when you start building the stage, you better know if it's going to happen or not, because we're talking kaching, money. And so that would be a very important part. I think the Netherlands are basically also closed down until March 31st, right? And that's only a few days before a building of the stage is set to begin. Now, this ban that we're talking about may be lifted at that point, could be loosened, or could be extended. You know, it could be anything. We don't know. It's very unexpected, and the big unknown, it's always like, what is going on? So it's really weird. Now, it's not just Eurovision that is affected here that has not been cancelled. There are other events such as Invictus Games and the Dutch Grand Prix. They're all still on the calendar. They're still planned as taking place right now because it's too early for them to be cancelled, which is kind of interesting because we also have a Long Beach Grand Prix. That's the city I live in here in California. We have that one in late April. That one actually has been cancelled. So that is actually funny, not funny, haha funny, because nothing about this is like haha funny, but it's like what's going on funny, that they decided to keep it on the calendar while we canceled it. Anyway, so let's talk this through. Let's talk about what the options are. The 5 options that I could see potentially happening with Eurovision. Number 1, Eurovision. It'll be fine. The virus will be under control, and everything will work out, and the event will take part as planned. That would be clearly the best case scenario. So all the fans can go watch the show, use their tickets, go to Rotterdam, spend a lot of money in tourism. I can do my press thing, and we're all happy, right? So that would be the best case scenario. Is it still a possibility? Absolutely. I'm glad we're taking precautions now. These few weeks are critical right now. 2-3 weeks in particular, that could make a huge difference. But we don't know yet. That is my hope. I think that's everyone's hope, that this will be the outcome, but it may not be the case. But that is one option that could happen. The other option is number 2. There are too many concerns and worries and big question marks. Therefore, the event, Eurovision, will still take place, but there will be no audience. Kind of like what we saw in Dansk Melodi Grand Prix in Denmark. And then my guess is also other events like Euro Club, Eurovision Village, the red carpet, all of that will also be canceled because it's a place of large gathering. So we only have all of the acts go to Rotterdam and perform, do their rehearsals, but there will be no mass gathering of the fans in the audience. And that is definitely being considered as of right now. I could see this one being a pretty reasonable option if this were to pan out. I'm curious how this would work like for press. Is press still allowed? It's still a good amount of people in there, but we're not all on top of each other, and I have no idea. So there's a big question mark, but this could be another reasonable and potential solution here, that we just not have a big audience. That waits to be seen. Again, I don't know how this would affect me, or the press, I should say, but we'll have to wait and see. The other third option that people are bringing up is that the contest will be postponed to a later date. So maybe do it in July instead. And I think this is one of the least likely, potentially the least likely outcome for many reasons. You cannot just say, okay, let's do it in July and everyone is going to be available. Now, the event the arena may not be available. The artists may not be available. Everyone involved cannot just change the entire schedule if they move Eurovision. It would be a logistic nightmare, and I just don't see that happening. It would be like for us, okay, we just watch it in July, whatever, but so much goes into it. So much. All these things that you volunteers, arena, as I said, the press, the artists, the delegations, the sponsors, it's insane. It's a huge undertaking. It's difficult enough to do it in 1 year at the planned time. Now, just pushing it back for a few months, I would be shocked if that were to happen. I just don't see it happening. That would be very, very unlikely. That would be, I thinking. Number 4, the contest will be canceled. So we're just going to skip 2020 and we do it next year in 21, which would be the first time ever for this to happen in a contest's history. But these are very unique times, and we have to wait and see how that's going to pan out. I do think canceling the contest together in 2020 is more likely than postponing it, in my view. Not that I would prefer the other one, but I live in the real world and understand how these things work. I still think this is less likely to happen as well. I just don't see them canceling the whole thing unless things go really out of hand. And there will be workarounds somehow. Some of them we mentioned. But is it possible? Yes, I could see it happening. And then the 5th option that I can think of and that was brought up is like a remote Eurovision will take place. So you have remotely filmed performances, something that actually in Slovenia, the RTV director mentioned, and he claims that Plan B has been mentioned by the EBU, though the EBU has not commented on it, so this is only based on that particular director. But basically what would happen is the performances would be recorded in their respective studios, so in the BBC in the UK and so on, and then be broadcast internationally, right? Each performance. That to me would be a huge mess. Is it a workaround? Yes, but it would be, oh my God, another nightmare to put this together. Switching to the British broadcaster, now this to the Croatian, now to the Estonian. One wrong flip of the button and all things fall apart. Number 2, the BBC has a much bigger and nicer studio than the one you would have in San Marino. Do you know what I mean? So there would be a huge discrepancy, and it just would really just work against some countries' odds. Now you can say you just deal with what you have, but once again, there seems to be so many hurdles to overcome. So just thinking about it is like, oh my God, how they're going to do that? How they're going to do that? So those, I don't know how that's going to work, but those, I think, are the 5 potential outcomes we have right now. Also, the Israel Eurovision party has been canceled. The the one in Spain, Eurovision party has been canceled. London Eurovision party and Amsterdam party, a Eurovision concert, they are keeping us up to date. But with the way things are going, there's a good chance that these will be canceled as well. And I think these are events that are more reasonable to be canceled rather than the contest, right? So those are already things that are going on right now. So 5 again, real quick, 5 outcomes, I believe, but add to the ones that I'm just mentioning. Number 1, Eurovision will take place as planned. Number 2, there will be no audience. Number 3, it'll be postponed. Number 4, canceled. And number 5, a remote Eurovision event, right? So this is where we at right now. And we just have to stay tuned. I don't think we'll get updates within the next few weeks. We get like few information trickled in here and there, but no decision will be made for a few more weeks. So just hanging tight. But this is where we're at. As far as I shared with you my thoughts on these, and of course, number 1 is everyone's perfect, hopefully, outcome. I hope then the number 2 option, the event has to take place. If there's no audience, it sucks. Everyone be reimbursed, maybe. No audience, I think that would be the second best option. This may or may not impact us in the press. I don't know if they still let us go. It would suck because, I spend so much money on this already. That would be all wasted. So this would be, but, health comes first. I get that. This is very important. And I very much support that. And then the third one, I guess, would be a remote Eurovision, I guess, my third favorite option. Again, it gives me nightmares, and I think it would be unfair to so many countries, but at least we have a contest. And then contest canceled, I think, the next one, and then postponed. I just don't see that happening. We're going to have to wait and see. So this is where we're at right now. I feel so bad if any of this were to happen besides number 1 to the Dutch folks, because they waited so long to win this darn thing. Now they win it, and then this is happening. Now, you understand, it has to be done. It has to be done. We cannot just, do this and then everyone gets sick and people die. I get that, but it still sucks. It really, really sucks for the Dutch. So I'm hoping if for some reason this will get canceled, then the Dutch will get to host it again next year at least, right? I mean, that's the least they can do. And even if they do the remote thing, I still think that the Rotterdam the Dutch broadcaster gets to host it again, because they earned this one. They absolutely did. So yes, it's just really, really worried. So let's talk. Any questions you have about this whole coronavirus thing, the hosting of Eurovision, please let me know. Right? At ESC United in the chat, I'm happy to answer these questions. Liam Allen Lindsay said 92% of people who have the virus will get over it, and 93% only have mild symptoms. If you just practice robust hygiene, things will be fine. Liam, I work in this business, health insurance, and I understand that the majority of people will be fine. But if you say 92% will get over it, that means 8% will not. If 8% of people will not get over it, that is a huge number. If 8%, they say if you would not do anything, any preventive measures here in the United States, right? Let's just say we're just gonna let it ride it out and just get people sick, get better, and then move on. We talk about over 1 million people that are going to die here alone in the United States. Those are frightening numbers, and people make the case, well, it's mostly just affecting the older people. I'm like, what kind of statement is that? I'm around elderly people that I love and care about. I don't want to be the one that's giving them a disease that kills them. And there are younger people as well that die, even though the majority of people will be fine that are younger and have a good immune system. Some of them don't. And I'm around toddlers. I don't want them to get sick and die. This is a little bit, we need to think outside just our personal well-being. This is a societal thing. And this is why we need to be very careful with that. Very, very careful. So please be all, I understand that we all just want to think, well, it's not that bad, we'll be fine. It's just like the flu. It's not like the flu. And I could talk for hours about this because I work in the insurance business. It is so important. I cannot stress this enough. It sucks. These are sacrifices that we make, and hopefully and I know we'll get through this and we'll be fine. It sucks. If it affects Eurovision. I get that. But this comes first. Priority, health. Thank you, by the way, Lasse, for your super chat. Very much appreciated. You're saying Denmark has a reputation for teaching kids and teens about serious things like COVID-19 in a lighthearted manner on YouTube and TV channels. Opinion on that? I absolutely agree with that. I feel when you say lighthearted, it is probably the best way to do it. I sometimes crack a joke as well about it, and I know that it affects people, and sometimes people die. But it is, I think, for all of us, gives us so much anxiety and so much nervousness going on that it's just, sometimes you need that relief. And I think younger kids need to be that stressed out. They need to be aware of it. Hey, don't do this, don't do that. I'm like, do this or you're going to die a painful death. No, of course you want to be a little bit more, okay, kids will get it that way, because if the kids, especially at a certain age, when it gets too stressful, too emotional, they shut down. And not to bring it down a little, but, just to give you a personal kind of reference, my mom died when I was 8 or 9 years old. It was terrible. She had cancer. And I remember the day my dad came into the living room, sat me and my brother down, and was like, your mom will die tonight. And was a little bit more emotional. And of course, I cried. I broke down, all that stuff. And then 30 minutes later, I shut down. I put up a wall, went back into my room and played video games, pretending nothing has happened. And I was thinking for years, I'm like, I'm a horrible human being. I was just told my mom is going to die. And I'm here playing video games, not thinking about it. But it's a very natural thing for kids, because they don't have the experience to really deal with these kind of emotions and trauma, that they often just put up that wall, shut it down, and move on. It's just the mechanism. And this is, I think, going back to the way they teach it, I think it's a very good way to do it, so kids actually will take in the information, and rather than shutting down. So this is, I think, a very effective way, and I think the people in charge know what they're doing. So that is definitely, I applaud that effort. So, sorry, I'm not trying to bring it down, and it's always good to share these kind of information. It's been a long time, so I'm okay. Let me drink a little bit of sip of water here. Okay, Emily Freeman says, I have a feeling that providing everything has some sort of control. One may happen if screening is taken before fans are allowed to enter Rotterdam, and screening before entering the arena. Now, screening is a difficult thing. I mean, I don't know what kind of tests we have right now, but as far as I understand is the test, you don't get an immediate answer. It takes a while to get the results. So I don't think it would work right before entering the arena that you get tested on COVID-19, and then it's going to be like, bing, you're good, go in. It's not, I don't think, unless they have more quicker tests now, that this would actually work. Correct me if I'm wrong about that, because I remember there was this one guy, the American, who actually took a test, and he found out while he was on an airplane, he got a text message, hey, you got coronavirus, but it was hours or like a day later until he found out. So, and he was in the middle of a flight, which sucks because all these people around him. So that is kind of weird. So yeah, this is definitely it's just such a weird situation. I don't even know what else to say. Like, I want to be more like, it's going to be okay. I mean, we will be okay. That is true. We will be okay. We'll get through this. It sucks. It's more than just inconvenient. I think we often forget. This is a reminder also that all the luxuries and things we take for granted that we don't have right now. That, oh wow, I cannot just go there and do this right now. While it's just temporary right now, it gives us maybe a way to reflect on what's, things that we always just like, well, I can do that whenever. So I certainly, it gave me a little bit of perspective here, a little bit. So yeah, but I don't know what else to say. That's why I just did this live stream today, just we can talk about this, because I know it weighs on our shoulder, and I want to give a big shout out to some of the people in those countries that are really under lockdown. I feel particularly bad for the people in Israel, I almost said Italy, different eye. You're like basically under house arrest almost there, so it sucks. So hopefully I can entertain you a little bit here by talking this through. Again, we'll get through this, and hopefully our beloved contest will be fine. So, Yeah, this is what we have. I'm going to answer a few more questions. ESC Laura said, it just sucks. It affects everything. Eurovision and even my A levels. I'm from Germany and they told us that yesterday was our last day of school. We were not even able to celebrate. ESC Laura, it's the same thing here. I think it was it yesterday or the day before? Friday or Thursday? I'm losing track. Right now everything is just happening and coming from all sides. But our schools here in LA County, Los Angeles County, they are closed until April the 20th. That's over a month. That is a long time, and it's less than just about kids staying home. Depending on the age of your kid, especially if it's like preschool or whatever, then parents cannot go to work. Do they need a babysitter? What are they going to do? So it's just like a snowball effect of things that affect them, and I assume there are similar things happening in Europe. So it's hard to even like, wow, it's just crazy. Oh, Sebastian is there. Hey, buddy. I also agree that postponing will be a huge problem, still with goodwill of everybody, and it will be done before stage was constructed, etc. We can avoid lots of bad financial aspects. Yes, the financial aspect, though, is only one thing. It's also talking logistics. I don't think all the acts are going to be available. The delegations, the volunteers. I think you would need more than just 2 months. The only thing I can see a rescheduling is like if it's going to happen in fall, right? You need more than 2 months, I would assume. Can it happen? Maybe. But I think just knowing the planning that goes behind these things, I think canceling is much more likely. And seeing all these other events that are being canceled here, that I know they're not being postponed, a lot of them will be canceled because they know that just pushing it back is very, very difficult. If it's on an annual basis, you have to kind of stick to that. So yeah, but who knows? You never know what's going to happen. This is a very unique situation. We have never, ever had that before. So it's very difficult. I cannot compare it to anything else. Nedas A said, in Lithuania, schools are closed for 2 weeks and in the capital city for 5 weeks. So in the capital city for 5 weeks, similar to what we have right now. Keep in mind, LA is the most populous county in the United States. We have, I don't know, 10 million people here. Just in this state. Not state, I keep saying state. County alone. A lot of people. So I understand it's kind of treated as a capital, I guess, because it's just full of people. So I get it. And one person gets it and spreads to the next one. It's like, a recipe for disaster. Jokasi is saying, how is the USA going to tackle the disease when you don't have universal health care? I don't want to get too political, but all I can say is exactly. I find it funny. It's because our Vice President, Mike Pence, said earlier that everyone in the United States can get tested for COVID-19, even if you're uninsured. And the sentence, even if you're uninsured, shouldn't even exist here, right? It's like ridiculous. But that is a different story. But we are told that everyone can get tested, even if you don't have insurance. But we don't even have enough tests right now. So it's a big mess. And we can talk for hours about that. But it's not about me. It's not about the US here. It is about Eurovision. Levi5 says, you said that the Netherlands should host again in 21, but if there will be a remote contest and another country will win, then they will lose the right to host. That is true, but they will at least know in advance. If you make that announcement saying, hey, we have to take away Netherlands' right to host the contest, so we're going to do a remote one, but next one they will host it regardless. And then people can say, hey, if we take part and we cannot even host it, I will not take part, then that's their choice. But I don't think that any broadcaster would be that demanding, saying, no, I want it. This is, I think, where the continent will come together a little bit and say, okay, sure, Netherlands, go ahead. And if it's announced up front, it's not like they lose it because they knew it was never their thing to begin with, if that makes any sense. So, Latvia air travel closing on March the 17th, Latvia is saying. Yeah, probably also until the end of month. That seems like the magic number right now, March 21st, about 2 weeks. Here in Croatia, we have one child infected. One child, that's a low number, which is good. I wanted to keep low. Hopefully the child is a little older, like maybe at least like 7 or 8. The immune system are a little bit more stabilized, so they should be fine as well, unless they have some other pre-existing condition that would continue, could play a factor here. But, keep in mind. And here's the thing I also want to say. I think it is very important to be concerned, to be aware and take precautions. But there is a certain level of anxiety that freaks me out. Like, again, okay, I'm bringing it back to the United States because this is where I live and this is the examples I have. But here people drive me nuts. They initially were like, oh, this is all a hoax. It's fine. Not a big deal. And then Tom Hanks has the coronavirus and the NBA season get canceled. And then they freak out. And now they go to the stores, buy all of the toilet paper, all of the paper towels, all of the hand sanitizer for a year. Like, is there not a middle ground? Be concerned. Be aware. Make sure that your family, you're okay for the next few weeks. And not like this, I don't care or the world is ending. It's like, people, be rational. Is it just me? Do you have like the similar situation? I feel as Europe is so much better in being like level-headed when it comes to this. They get it. Let's get her done. Let's hunker down, let's figure it out, and then we'll be fine. And it seems you guys are so much better at this. Emily Freeman says, does anyone remember those empty arena shots that walking out of used funny how that walking out of is a year late? I don't know what you mean by that. Forgive me, so I didn't quite get what you were saying. Liam Allen is saying, if a remote contest would to take place, could they do an Olympic-style vote where the top 10 of this year can submit a venue and it then voted on and the winner on that vote hosts next year? I still think if it's remote, they need to give it to the Netherlands. I'm still very much adamant about that. I don't know if they don't want to do that, then they have to give it to the winner. I don't think they should do a vote. If they really want to continue with the tradition of the winning country, then so be it. But honestly, if you win a remote contest, then you should host a remote contest the next year. So therefore, I feel as if the last person who wins a physical, like real Eurovision at a host city needs to host the next one. That's how I feel about it. So, let's see, other questions. We're going to stick a few more minutes on this whole thing because this is what's all on our mind, right? And then we move on to something else. Just going for 2 more minutes. In Ireland, all schools are closed till March 29th, and outside gathering can exceed 500, and indoor gatherings can't exceed 100. The whole country is shut down. It's the same thing. Again, will be temporary. I'm glad everyone is doing it. Thank God we have the internet. Imagine this was 1985. Ugh. That would be horrible. At least we got Netflix, and we got the internet, and we got stuff to do. I mean, you can still go out. It's not like you have to stay home unless you have any kind of symptoms where you have to self-quarantine yourself. You can at least go for a hike, go for a bike ride, or just drive around. There are things to do, so it's not that bad. Thomas... Oh gosh, I just lost it there. Thomas Labrie is saying, are you personally reconsidering going to the Netherlands and Europe despite the actual situation if Eurovision is not cancelled, postponed, or remoted? If Eurovision takes place as planned, or if Eurovision takes place with no audience and the press can go, I am going. So I am not too concerned. As said, I am concerned. I am worried about this, but I'm also not paranoid about it. I do understand that it comes down to personal hygiene. I would wash my hands 15 times, right? I would go on an airplane, stay in my seat, and that's it. Can it be transferred airborne? Yes. But it's mostly about touching metal items, things where the virus can sit on. And so I'm not as worried about it getting it. right? But I am aware it can happen, and you want to minimize it. So to answer your question, no, I would go. I would go for sure. So this is how I feel. All right. RTE says, congratulations on the Russia video going. I don't know if it's going viral. I got a few votes on it, but the Russian videos usually get a lot of views, so thank you for that. In case you're wondering, my reaction video, I think, for the Russian song got a good amount of views. I love that song, though. I don't know, I shouldn't be liking it, but it's like a drug. It's like you're not supposed to like it, but you can't get enough of it. HCB is saying, if the country, my country, the UK, still has schools open and public events are still taking place, I feel like our government is as bad as yours, man. Well, the UK, I can't believe the UK is still doing that. Good job, Boris Johnson. Good job. There is a reason why the UK was now added to our travel ban as well, because initially Trump said, okay, all the countries, 26 countries in the EU are banned, but not the UK. And now it's like, yeah, the UK as well. So that has changed. Yeah, I'm surprised to hear that, though. I'm very surprised. So yeah, that was pretty interesting to read. I had no idea about that. It's very difficult to keep track. Like, I try to stay, my job, my 9-to-5 job requires me to stay on top of things, but it's hard to know what's going on in every single country. It's difficult enough to deal with what's going on in my country. So yeah, let's just answer 2 more questions. I'm looking forward to find out what the decision is, might make this year extra special. David, that is true. Whatever happens, we know this will be a unique situation. Even if it all ends up as planned, we all remember 2020 and what went down here. This is, this is history. We're making history right now here, but it's not the kind of history you want to make. But, hey, we just got to live with that. So, thank you for all these really good questions. I really appreciate that. Serbian flights to JFK are still ongoing, Stefan. Oh, Stefan is saying that. Hey, Stefan. That is true. It's not that the flights have been canceled. It's just there is a travel ban. Us Americans, we can still go back and forth, right? We just won't let anyone else, and we won't let non-citizens in unless I think you're a green card holder. Then you can get in as well. So permanent residents and citizens can still go back and forth. Unless, I don't know what the Europeans' rules are as far as like me going to Germany right now. Could I even go if I'm not a citizen? But the point is, you can still bring Americans over here. It's just going to be a small number. And keep in mind, the ban just went in place at midnight, I think. So it's still brand new. So I don't know what the situation is right now. So this is where we are right now with COVID-19. Again, I can answer more questions at the end if you want to about this topic, because we could talk about this for a gazillion years. Hopefully things will work out, and I will be here to keep you up to date and keep you involved and energized. I know that it's easy to just get but let's not go there. We're all in this together. Okay, right? I can't think of a Eurovision song that would be give me a Eurovision song that is like very uplifting and positive. Clap your hands. Oh, clap your hands. No. Gosh. Anyway, give me a song and I'll sing that for you. Someone is just saying, Anthony Johnson, keep the same artist but with new songs if they have to cancel Eurovision. Again, we don't know if the artist will be available next year. It's just, I can't even think about that. I can't even think about what's going to happen, how they want to do it. It's like my head is exploding. I don't even want to think about that, but there are so many options. We could go down that rabbit hole really, really deep, and I don't want to go that. Oh, Spirit in the Sky. Say yay, yay, yay. That's a good one. Blackbird. Who said Blackbird? Okay, Spirit in the Sky. I see you calling me at night. That is right. Ale, ale, ale. We got that one as well. Ding a dong every hour when you pick a flower. That's a good one as well. Gosh, Love Shine a Light. That's the winner. David Doran. Love shine a light in every corner of my heart. That's a good one. So, storms don't last forever. That's good too, Jenny. You see, they won't last forever. Through this storm, through this storm, So, you guys are so much better at this. So yeah, let's all be in this together, and we'll be fine. One last breath, David. Oh my God. Shame. Okay, so let's move on. So again, I can answer more questions on the COVID-19 at the end. Let's just talk a little bit more like uplifting Eurovision related stuff, and then we'll go through the rest. How does that sound? Okay, so the only thing I also have left on there to talk about is let's talk about some of these recent releases, and I'm not because I talked already about all of the songs that are out, the 41, and I want to talk about the revamped versions that I know of. So the first one that was just released recently, one of the songs that I dearly like, is Ukraine. Salve. So they released a revamped version. Make sure to check it out and compare it to the original one. And I would love to hear from you as well. As far as which one you prefer, the original or the revamped version. I listened to the Ukrainian version just this morning. It's still early here. It's not even noon here. And I don't think that the Ukrainian song, Salve, there is a huge difference in the arrangement. I see there are some tweaks here and there, but the overall feel of the song didn't change that much to me. So this is the one where I'm like, I don't have an opinion. I feel like the old and the new one are kind of equal to me. I only listened to the new one once, and it didn't jump out at me the significant changes that takes away the mood or adds anything. I feel like, yeah, kind of, it gives me the same vibe. I don't have a strong opinion either or on Ukraine. I see that Des Cowell is saying he prefers the original. But Malcolm, on the other hand, said that he thinks Salve revamp is better. So there's a 1-1 there. Tramba said, I have a preference for the original one, unfortunately, but both are very good. So he's leaning towards the old one. But Stephen Kendall says the revamp is better. So this is like where people are definitely have different opinions there. I'm fine with either one of them. I like the new version. I like the old version. I love the song. So I'm okay with this one. I don't feel as strongly about it. There are other revamps that are coming up that we can talk about in a little bit more detail. And I see people are talking about the other countries. Don't get ahead. I'm going through them one by one. You're messing with my system. Rude. So Ukraine, I'll put on no preference. That is how I'm going to vote on that one. Now, the next one I have here is actually Armenia. Armenia, chains on you, put your chains on you, chains on you. So, they have finally the final version out. The official music video is out by Athena, and I'm sure you checked it out already. And the song, I can say is a fan favorite, and I cannot say it's a Matt favorite either. I will say this though, the revamp, I mean, absolutely an improvement, right? The first one was like so naked and demo-y version that it was terrible. Now they added a lot more beat and more instruments and more sound, adding more volume, and it makes it a whole lot more sound like an actual real composition rather than just like this horrible whatever it was. The song itself is still whatever to me, but at least it stands out a little, and it's a daring choice. I'm not even saying it's going to completely flop. I don't think the juries will go for it, but this could actually be quite popular with some of the televoters. I do like what they did with the chorus. They added the beat a little bit, they added some more sound, and it sounded good, or better, I should say. I'm still not a fan of the Jamaican steel drum sound or whatever that is. I just don't feel this goes with the song. I was really hoping that they were going to get rid of that sound, but they didn't. So But I will say the revamped version is an improvement to what we've had before, which again is a very, very, very low bar, super low. But that is just my opinion. How do you guys feel? Do you agree that the new version is better? Does it matter to you at all? I would love to hear from you. Athena came with that new revamp and the MV like a real queen. Now, I will say this about the video is fantastic, and she has quite the charisma and personality. Maybe with the great staging, this will be even better. It's just not the kind of song that I would listen to a whole lot in the studio version, right? But certain songs are made for the stage. So maybe that will happen here. So that's how I feel. Let me see what others are saying. Trambo said, for me, Armenia is still pretty much the same. So there's no opinion. I feel like there's definitely a change. David Doran is saying much better than the original. Definitely. Yes, I agree with that. Some people are saying they haven't listened to it yet. Colin's saying Armenia is still my 40th place after the revamp. Hey, at least it's not last place. That's an improvement, right? So... yes, that is definitely how I feel. And so the revamp better. The song still is not like super high in my ranking. Let's talk about another country that recently provided a revamp. And it's very interesting the progression that would happen here. So Czech Republic. Also, Benny had a new version of Kimama come out. And that one changed quite a bit. It had that guitar sound, and it took out somewhat that beat, I think, and it changes the energy of the song completely. And I did see that a lot of fans were not very happy with that change, that the guitar sound was too distracting. So now they, again, reconsidering using that version and then reverting back to the original one. So that is very interesting. You can say, well, they should know better what they're doing there. However, I will say that I'm glad that they are actually listening to the fans. Because we always complain that they ignore us. They listen to our input. So that feels good, right? Granted, it makes a little nervous like going back and forth, but I'm glad that they're listening to our suggestions. Because I agree with it. I agree with everything that you guys have said before. I do like the original version better. It sounds more like a club sound, a song with a nicer beat and different energy. The new one feels like the guitar sound is way out of place to me, and it just no longer has the oomph that I wanted to see in it. Because I always said with Czech Republic, while it's not my number one or anywhere near my top 10, I do feel as people are sleeping on Czech Republic this year. I think this could actually do quite well. Better than a lot of people anticipate. The new version makes me a little nervous, so if they revert back to the original one, I would be a little bit more confident in Czech's chances. How do you guys feel? Do you like the original one better as well, or were you actually a fan of the revamped version? Let me know in the chat. At ESC United, that always helps. Kimama was way better before, Kiara is saying, so she agrees with that. Tyrone Samua said, no, Czech Republic, this revamp has killed one of my favorites of the year. Okay, so that is fair. Vicky, oh gosh, I lost Vicky. I don't mind the Kimama revamp. They just need to refine the sound mixing, dial the guitar back, and bring his vocals forward. Well, then it's another revamp, though, right? So we do need another revamp of the revamp. But I hear what you're saying. Jenny is saying Kimama revamp is unnecessary. Let's see. David Doran, Kimama has gone way down in my ranking after the revamp. Well, maybe it climbed up again if they go back to the original version. Vaco saying Benny looks so humble and that's so good for an artist that to participate in Eurovision. I agree. As said, I appreciate that he's listening to people's advice. Nala saying the revamp is actually good, but the guitar is just too loud. And yeah, I can see that. HCB is saying still get over this was picked over so many good songs in the national finals. I had Kimama as my third favorite in that national final, so it wasn't my number one either. So I'm also still disappointed. But Czech Republic always seems so random with songs they're choosing. You never know what's going to happen. So I do see, I think the overall consensus here is that you agree with me and what people are saying. The revamp is not as good as the original, and if you want to do the revamp version, fix the revamp version. So make a revamp, up the revamp, right? I think this is definitely where we'll be heading towards here. Okay, that's another one. Okay, let's talk about another revamp in my opinions, and that is Albania. Albania just recently also had finally the version out, and one of the biggest changes, of course, is that they switched from Albanian to English, although, to be fair, that was to be expected. Albania said that this song will be in English. Apparently, the song was written in English, then translated into Albanian. Now the song is called Fall from the Sky. And the song is out. And I'm going to be honest. What I liked about the original version is it was very ballady, and when she was singing Shine, it was pulled on your heartstrings. There was such a sadness and desperation that came across that just, I was like, oh, you're hurting me when you sing it like that. I could feel it. And with the revamped version, I feel as it lost some of that emotional impact. It feels as it became almost like a mid-tempo song where they added more like speed to it, and the arrangement. I liked the original version significantly better. That is me personally. I feel as it lost the emotional impact. That is the best I can put it. It's still not a bad song by all means, but I feel as right now it became a little bit more ordinary compared to the original emotional roller coaster almost. So I am definitely a little bit disappointed by the revamp. So that is my personal opinion. You are allowed to disagree, and I'm dying to hear what you guys are saying. At ESC United, you prefer the original version or the new version? Yuk Ferreira says, Albania ruined everything by singing in English. It won't get my vote for sure. Now, I don't know if... I don't necessarily always have a problem with translating a song into English. I don't necessarily care for the English words per se. I don't necessarily think the message is as grabbing to me. It came all on the way she sang it, and that emotional thing got lost, so therefore I'm not quite as connected to it. That is to me. So yeah, I'm not necessarily... I'm not as worried about the English lyrics. It's just really the emotions that I'm no longer connecting with. Emily Freeman is saying Albania better in English. I find it more powerful. Plus, her pronunciation is perfect. Yeah, as I said, her pronunciation is perfect. I completely agree with you. Her diction is it's like she sounds like she knows how to speak English, and I love that. Sometimes you're kind of like, what? But with her, it's not a problem. So I'm not quite as worried about the English. It's really for me about the emotional impact. I keep repeating myself, but that is just really what it comes down to. Let me see here. Arilena is going to break on stage, whatever that means. Piv Shisak says, I feel I understand the words. I'm somehow less connected to the song. The original was far more impactful. That's exactly how I feel. I felt more impact with the original one. We are on the same page. Let's see here. Shy was my 6th favorite in Festivale Kenges. I still can't get over the fact that Mitana didn't win. I know, right? I think Shy was my 4th favorite. So a little bit higher than you. But I hear your pain, if I remember my ranking correctly. So, Eleni says, I think it's more beautiful and impactful in English. I don't know why for me it's just better, the revamp. Hey, that's why I'm asking. Some people may like it better. I'm just trying to get the vibe, if more people are with me or actually think it's the better version. I think more people are disappointed with it from what I'm hearing. Okay, Matt, the lyrics are strange now too. You can say, honestly, I've only listened to the Albanian revamp once, and I picked up some of it, but not completely, because I was more thrown off by the arrangement than the words. But I have to listen to it again to get completely the message. Okay. So this is there's one more, but I don't have an opinion on that yet because we don't know. You know how we all had our opinions on France this year? Tom Leb, you are the best in me. You're making it all complete. You are. So, the fans, it did not go over well with the fans. It was not a very popular song. One of the least favorite songs, I would say, as of right now. So, apparently, Tom heard us, and what they're going to do is they will revamp the song. First of all, they want to change the title from The Best in Me to Mon Ali in French. So, The Best in Me is such a cliche and corny. The lyrics are horrible. You are the best in me. You're making it all complete. It's boring. There's nothing. It's a vessel. It's nothing. So, I definitely was not a fan of the arrangement of the song, the lyrics of the song. I just could not get into it. So, apparently they performed this acoustic version in one of the shows at some point, which had more of an emotional impact. So apparently what they are trying to do is put forward a more acoustic version rather than going with this over-the-top orchestral arrangement that they have right now. And I love me a good orchestra, but I think it has zero emotional impact. It is very cliche, very outdated, and just doesn't connect with people. And I think what they're trying to do here, at least get a little bit more of an emotional impact, having a more stripped back version of it and rename it. And I think they need to switch it into French completely because the English lyrics are a disaster. So I think that this is a good idea. Whether or not that's going to win me over remains to be seen. But it could be an improvement because right now I just can't get into it. We don't know when that song, the revamped version, will be released, so stay tuned for that. But at least I wanted you to be aware in case you did not know. So those are, I think I had discussed all of the revamped versions right now, unless I missed something. The only other one that I have mentioned yet, there is also a revamped version coming forward for Slovenia. And if you watch my reaction video to Slovenian song, I actually liked the song. I am slightly disappointed that people don't like it better. I think the beginning is so beautiful, the first few notes, and the chorus is so powerful. Where it loses the impact is in the very, very, very long verses. And I think there should be more of an arrangement there. But from what I'm hearing, that is exactly what they're going to fix with the revamp. So I'm very, very hopeful that Slovenia song is actually going to be pretty darn good. That is at least my hope here. So that is what we have. And I know a lot of people don't like Slovenia. I saw that. I like it. I really like it. Is it going to, again, not going to be my top 10. I get that. But I think it's a little bit underappreciated in my view. Lasse, thank you so much again for your support and the super chat. Let me read that real quick. Ukraine, Israel revamps are more like polishes, having slight extra sounds and music, while the rest are actual revamps having significant changes. This is a very great way to put it. I forgot about Israel actually, because it's really just polishing it. The version in Israel is like insignificant to me. It's like almost just like wiping it up with like a little rack and then just make it sure that it looks nice. They're not as significant. I completely agree with that. When people said actually it's a revamp, I'm like, it's not that different. But it's improvement. But they kept the spirit of the song alive. While like Albania and Czech Republic went a different route, which is always a little bit more risky because you will please some people, but potentially upset others. At the same time, 99.9% of the people watching the contest, they never heard the original version, right? So you can only worry about this so much. At least that is my view. So, yeah. Let me just drink some water. And by the way, before I do that, it's time for our open Q&A session. So let's ask away any questions you may have at ESC United. Make sure you put that there and I'll try to read some of them. Let's talk anything. If you want to discuss more of the whole coronavirus thing, let's do that. If you want to talk more about the revamped stuff, go ahead. If you want to talk more about anything else Eurovision related, go ahead. I'll have a sip of water while I'm waiting for the questions to come in. Romania revamp. Holy camoli, Pavel. I completely forgot about Romania. I put this together the last second before I just wanted to talk about coronavirus. I'm like, nah, I need to bring a little bit more other stuff in as well. So I just put these things together quickly. But here's the thing with Romania. And it's very important probably for you to watch my reaction video. I did a reaction video for the 5 songs in the running in Romania. I picked my top 3 and Alcohol You was not in my personal top 3 in that in that national final. So when it won, I was initially very disappointed. I was like, it's a decent song, but it will not be anywhere near my top because I don't connect with it quite as much. But this is another revamp where it really, really won me over. It became, in certain parts, a little bit more significant and a little bit more grand and had a much more bigger impact. And it has a better flow as well, because the other one was kind of more like, now it goes a little bit more like a little ride there, and I like that a lot. So thank you for bringing that up, and I appreciate that. But yeah, I like it. Now, one of the few songs that actually won me over now. I was really disappointed because I was really rooting for Romania because I want Romania to win badly. I want to go there. Oh my god, so many questions. David Doran, what's your honest view of my country UK song? Well, David, I'm always honest. And watch my reaction video. I'm also very honest in there. I will tell you right here, right now, that My Last Breath is the best UK entry in a decade, at least. I really, really, really like the UK this year. I really do, and I'm so glad, because I've been very harsh on the UK, their selection process, and everything that went down. So I'm thrilled that I can finally be on Team UK. For me, it's definitely high up in the ranking. I cannot say it's going to set the scoreboard on fire. I don't know if it will enter my personal top 10, but it's a really good song. And when it comes on, I'm so excited because it's a good song. It's a really good song. Lasse, again, thank you so much for the super chat. Opinion on San Marino, or is there a reaction coming up? Here's the thing with San Marino. I started recording the video, my reaction video, but I didn't have my microphone on. I had it on sound off. I'm like, no! So I cannot fake a reaction video. I couldn't do a second reaction video. The same thing happened to me on Ukraine as well, by the way. It's like, well, actually, Ukraine was different. I think Ukraine, I hit a cable and my camera stopped working. So halfway through my reaction, it cut it off. That really sucked. So I couldn't do Ukraine because the camera got disconnected. And then in San Marino, my sound button was off. So I did react to it, but I couldn't, I cannot re-record a reaction video. It would be weird. But I like it. I don't love it. I said before, I will say this. With San Marino. San Marino, when you hear the song, you're kind of like, yeah. This is San Marino. You don't even need to know. It is something about the 70s disco sound that they just love every single time. So if I heard the song for the first time, I'm like, yeah, of course it's San Marino. Who are you kidding? Now, I think I like it better because it's San Marino. Does that make sense? It feels almost unfair because I want to root for San Marino. If this would have been Sweden, I would have been probably a little bit more critical. So maybe it's the expectation level is a little different. It's a little bit... I guess it's borderline guilty pleasure, I guess. So it's okay, it's fun, but I want to be reasonable with my expectations because it is a fair thing to say. If this would have been Sweden, I would have been way more critical. You know what I mean? Let's take... Oh, so many questions. Okay, I really want Eurovision to happen. It is a light in a dark times. It makes me happy, and it wouldn't be so depressed if it didn't happen. Eleni, I completely agree. I feel as we need Eurovision regardless. It's just like that thing that people look forward to, especially if we're all just locked in, like on a house arrest. Let's give us something to look forward to. We got a few shows, so I'm completely in agreement with you. Okay, sorry, forgive me. There's so many questions. Richard here. I had the same reaction like you about this year's entry of Croatia, Divili Vietra. I don't understand. It is so underrated by the fans. When I say, so if you watch my Croatian reaction video, you know that I love Croatia. It has a nostalgic feel to it because, yes, it's very, Croatia, late 90s, early 2000s kind of thing. But he sings it so well, and I just love the notes, and I just love the song so much. But I'm not surprised that people don't like it in the Eurovision community. It's not a very Eurovision community-friendly song. So I was expecting a big boo-boo on that one. And I'm okay with that. I do think that Croatia will have a much bigger appeal to the non-ESC diehard community. That's what my thinking is. Or at least maybe that's my hope. But yeah, no, I hear you. Okay. Next question. What, by Sven Nope. What is your favorite non-winning ESC entry in the 1990s? Yeah, I can't do that. I cannot even do a favorite non-winning song by year. Are you kidding me? I can maybe come up with a like in 1999, I would say probably the second place. Iceland was my favorite, Out of Luck. In 1998, I had Malta with Chiara as my favorite non-winning song. In 1997, it was Turkey. Do you know what I mean? In 1996, it was Norway. In 1995, I think Israel. So it's like I cannot even do it by decade. I can't do it, and I refuse. Oh, HCB, thank you so much for the super chat. If you could change one national final result from this year, what would it be? Also love your content. Keep it up. First of all, thank you for the nice compliment. And number one, Finland. Absolutely. Cicciolina should have won. It's a polarizing song, but it would have left an impact. So out of all the national finals, would have been Finland. Followed by Portugal. But Finland. Absolutely. No doubt about it. Okay, we got a few more minutes. So at ESC United, I'm trying to answer as many questions as possible. They keep coming in quickly, so I cannot answer them all unless they're super chats. Let's see. Which do you prefer, Iceland, Lithuania, or Russia? Okay, I will say this. Subject to change, Vanya. Okay, you hear me. Subject to change. As of right now, based just on the studio version, because I will say Lithuania. I think as a song overall, Lithuania is the strongest one for me. I like all three of them to different degrees, but Lithuania I think is just awesome. I just love it. And I've seen the staging, or at least from national finals, so I have a little bit more of an idea on what's going to happen. Even though I think with Russia, I think they're going to do something similar to what they did in the music video. I think I would say Lithuania out of those three. I hope that answers your question. Bulgarian country ball. Do you have any thoughts on Bulgaria? Well, Bulgarian country ball. You haven't seen my reaction video yet? You missed something. So, I haven't done a ranking yet. Right? A proper ranking yet. But if you put a gun to my head right now and ask me which one is your favorite song of the year, subject to change, it could be Bulgaria. I'm 90% sure it'll be my top 3. It is. I just love it. I love it. I love it. It's the best Bulgarian entry ever to me. And I know I'm not probably in the majority, but this is also a very interesting year because the last 2 years were awesome because I was very mainstream. Like what the fan favorites were my favorites because that's not how it usually goes. Because usually I tend to be a little bit more of like the mainstream path. But it was nice being like, yeah, everyone loves my song. I loved Italy and Netherlands were my favorites last year. Then I loved Sweden. I loved Norway. You know, like all of that stuff. The year before, I loved Netta. Cyprus was great. Austria. I loved all of the favorite ones. Then this year, that changed again. I'm back to, my top 10. If I put forward a top 41 video or a top 10 video, the likes-dislike ratio would not be in my favor, because I have a lot of under-the-radar, less popular songs high up in my ranking this time around. So I feel as this year could be very disappointing for me. So, we have to wait and see. Okay, so my nose is tickling right now here. Forgive me. I'm not sick. Okay, let's answer a few more questions. Alexander Pagelt says, which song that didn't win a national final this year is your favorite? Mine is Eden in Italy, would have been my winner this year. As I mentioned, I loved Cicciolina in Finland. I loved Beautiful Lie in Estonia. I just wasn't a fan of the live performance, but the song in itself is still fantastic. I love Anna Bergendahls Kingdom Come. Yeah, those are some to point out. I'm sure there are more. I just, the first thing that came to mind. Which is the most overrated song this year? Harvey Sapiga was saying. Okay, this is such a dangerous question. Because this will divide the people. What people love, and I don't think should be considered overrated just because I don't like it. I'm always very careful using that term. So I will say this. One song that is immensely popular with the fan base right now, and that I'm not quite connecting with, is probably Norway. I acknowledge everything. The vocals, the grand arrangement, everything about it is amazing, and yet I'm like, okay, yeah, it's nice. I'm not connecting with it. But that is just me, and maybe that'll change. But as of right now, I'm not quite as crazy about Norway this year. But I know it's very popular with the fans. Just not me, I guess. So yeah. Okay, so do a few more here. Good questions, by the way. Matt, which song do you listen to the most? Okay, hear me out. Obviously, Bulgaria is really high up there. And I don't know, sometimes I'm like a sucker for punishment. Like, you listen to songs that you're really almost annoyed with, but yet you keep going back, and you're kind of like, this is such a weird song. It's such a hot mess. Why am I keep listening to it? And that is Moldova. I've listened to that song like 3 times yesterday. And I'm like, why am I doing that? And I'm like, it's just something I've realized that for some reason, Philip Kirkorov's music, I somehow like, even if it's very specific, outdated, what the heck is going on kind of music. But I think just has to do with the way I grew up, the kind of music my family was listening to. So I get this nostalgic feel to it, and I'm a sucker for it. That's why I love Estonia. That's why I'm kind of getting Moldova. So it's just weird, right? But you asked me that question, and I'm just being honest. What do you think about Azerbaijan this year? Someone is asking. Lou, I forgot. Oh yeah, Lou Chess. Why aren't you watching my reaction videos and you would know? I love Azerbaijan. I didn't expect that to happen. I love that. Like Cleopatra. I can't do the sound. The Cleopatra. I cannot roll that R because when I do, I spit. I just think it's like, wow, I didn't expect that. Like, using these traditional sounds, creating music that is so 2020, fantastic. I will subtract a few points for the annoying la 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 part. But other than that, it's a banger. Absolutely a banger. Let's see. Revamp related. Thinking backwards. What was the most impressive, successful revamp for the last few years? I will tell you one, Gil Kagan. That's the first time that it ever happened that a song was like that I did not like at all, became a song that I loved in the end. And it's probably only one time it happened was in 2013 when Roberto Bellarosa from Belgium released his revamped version. Love Kills. Over and over. It was just like a demo, horrible version where he sang it poorly that was just painful to listen to. And then the revamped version came out. I love this. This has never happened again. So I think that is the most improved revamp I have ever experienced, in my view. So that is my opinion. Okay, we're almost done here. What do you think of Absenado from Portugal National Final, my winner in Portugal and most underrated song this year? Is that the winning song? I forgot the name of it. No, that's not the... I don't even remember what song that is. Forgive me. Absenado. I listened to it, and I see it on the list here right now, but I'm going to be honest. I do not remember it right now on top of my head. Now, keep in mind, I really didn't like the national final in Portugal this year. The only songs I truly cared for were Blasted Rebellion, didn't make it even to the finals. And then the other one was the runner-up, Barbara Tinoco, Passé Partout. These are the only songs I could really feel anything about. So the rest I didn't care for, so my guess is I wasn't crazy about it. What about Supergirl? Supergirl Grease. I liked it. I really liked the song. It, yes, it's very youthful. It's very young, but it's appropriate, and I enjoy it for that reason. And the instrumental part is my favorite aspect of it. I'm a Supergirl. I love that part. So no, I enjoyed it very much. Absolutely. Absolutely. Azerbaijan is a hot mess, but I like it, Ben Jeffrey saying. That's how I feel about it as well. It's one of those songs, you know. You just have to enjoy it. All right. Do you think that the UK will end up on the left-hand side of the scoreboard this year? Man, this is a tough question because I don't know the competition. I mean, I know all the songs, but who will qualify, right? Is there potential? Yes. I think that the UK is playing right now with the 12th to 18th place kind of window. Unless something crazy is going to happen and they're going to flop or do even much better. But right now, that's what I'm thinking. I think there's potential. I would be totally fine with a left side scoreboard kind of situation for them. So we shall see. But yeah, I think there's definitely a chance. For which song that is not revamped in 2020 would you prefer to be revamped? Abdullah Aaron is saying. Okay. There's one is coming to mind. Let me think here real quick. Oh, I need the list for that. I know that on top of my head. Alicia, no, that's good. That one, nah. Okay, so the one that I can think of is probably Latvia. Latvia is such a bipolar song to me that I wish it could fix the parts that I hate and make it a little more clean. So I feel as Latvia should have had a revamp. Out of all the ones, I think that one I was hoping for the most for a revamp. So that is where we're at. So I see one question, even though it wasn't directed at me at ESC United, I just happened to see it. Are you going to rehearsals this year? Well, I'm planning on going. If the whole COVID-19 situation allows me to go, I will be there. I already have been approved for press, so that is done. We just have to wait and see if Eurovision is going to happen. But assuming it is and we're allowed to go, I will be there. I will be there. What do you think about the ultimatum which the mayor of Rotterdam gave the EBU and broadcaster to decide on COVID-19? In case, we talked about it briefly earlier, but what Lagrado is saying is, bringing up is, the mayor is saying we need to have an answer by April 5th or 6th as far as if Eurovision is going to happen. And he's not the one making ultimately the decision. But he needs to know by then because the stage, they're starting the building of the stage stuff. So they don't want to even get into that unless they know Eurovision will take place. I think that's a reasonable request. I understand why he needs to know that. It sucks because it gives it even less time to figure things out. But you don't want to waste taxpayer money either, right? So I understand what they're saying. It makes me a little bit more nervous because it gives us less time. But if I were the mayor of Rotterdam or the host city, I'd be like, I need to know. I need to know. I'm not going to build all of that and then just tear it down and didn't use it, because then we wasted all of that money for nothing. So I get it. I get it. I get it. We shall see. So, we had that question already. Do you think Romania will qualify after 2 disastrous years and hence being in a hard semifinal? Flavius 97, I think they will. Let me take a look at the competition. Yes, I'm pretty sure that Romania will go through this year. It is a tougher semi, I agree with that. But I do look at the lineup here right now, and it's they're like 2 true ballads in the second half, right? Of this semi. Belgium, not Belgium. Well, Belgium is a ballady too, I guess. So technically 3. So Croatia and then Romania. Croatia will have more of the traditional sound. Romania is the only contemporary ballad in the running. I know Norway is there as well. Oh, I suck. I cannot count. So I think the biggest competitor for Romania would be Norway, but there's more space for than one ballad. But I do think that Romania has, if you would ask me the odds right now, I would say there's an 80% chance for Romania to go through based on that. As long as the staging is good, she sounds great, and all of that stuff. We'll find out during the rehearsals. But yeah. Oh, another good question from Patrick Nemes. What do you think about the current betting odds? I just had them up like right before I went live, actually. Let me go back here. So the odds. The betting odds, keep in mind, don't always tell the full picture right away. But in previous years, they have been pretty accurate. Like, the Netherlands was basically the leader the entire time, and then they won. Israel was basically the leader the entire time until, Cyprus took them over during the rehearsals, but ultimately they were right in the beginning. So this is very interesting. So this year, there is no clear leader, right? In previous years, we had like these landslide favorites. This year, it's all just a big, hot mess. Let's take a look at it right now here real quick. Forgive me. So currently in first, a 13% chance of winning is Bulgaria. And it is a very surprising leader for me, not because I don't like it, because if you watched me and listened earlier, I love Bulgaria. But I didn't think it would be as well received by people. So I'm definitely surprised to see that. Switzerland really climbed over the last couple of days. Now in the shared second, no, it's in second place with 11% chance of winning. That is a surprise to see it this high. I don't necessarily think that Switzerland's going to win, but it would be nice to see. It's nice to see Switzerland this high up for the second year in a row. They figured out Eurovision. Good for them. But I'm still surprised to see it this high. Lithuania, I think Lithuania could be it's very difficult this year to say there is a winner, right? What song has winning written all over them? Lithuania might. I could see Lithuania actually having more of a jury appeal, more like Russia this year or Iceland, which are often considered like the gimmicky songs, although I find Lithuania is way more than that. If Lithuania ends up winning, I would not be shocked, and this is absolutely on my radar. Iceland currently in fourth place, 9% chance of winning. Don't see this one winning at all, but not because I have anything against it. I just don't think it's going to happen. Russia in fifth place right now. I think Russia is going to go big with the televoters. Potential televote winner. But the juries will not allow this one to win. So I don't see this one as the winner either. Romania in sixth place. Then Italy 7, Malta 8, Azerbaijan 9, and Germany 10. So I think this is a fair and reasonable top 10 right now as far as betting odds are concerned. So, but it's fun that for the first time in quite some time we have not a clear leader, right? So we may end up with a huge landslide winner, but at least there's nothing right now that screams and yells at you, "This is the winner!" So that makes it so much fun. So we shall see. Okay, let's do a couple more. I'm gonna go offline. We're gonna do 5 more minutes here. When will be announced the running order of the acts in both semis? There's never a specific date set, but I would expect the running order late March, early April. So that could change, but that's what I've seen lately, so just keep an eye out for that. But that would be my guess as of right now. Having an easier semi makes a very unbalanced final, where many mediocre songs will qualify, and so that's good for Semi 1 qualifiers and Big 5. Now, yeah, I mean, people are saying that Semi 2 is slightly weaker. I don't find Semi 2 that much weaker, to be fair. I just feel as also the big hitters, like the countries that traditionally do well at Eurovision, are in the first semi-final, and a lot of them have very strong songs as well. In the second semi, there's still a good amount of good songs in there. So I don't think there are that many bad ones. I'm trying to look. I mean, there's some bad ones in there, I guess. But it's also subjective, right? It's also subjective. But it's not as bad as some people make it out to be, in my view. So, okay, we got 4 more minutes. Any questions at ESC United to make sure I see them? What would you do if Eurovision happens but without an audience or in the online version? Would you still cover it, and how? Jokai, well, here's the thing. If it's without an audience, I would still go and report on it if I'm allowed. If the EBU says we're not allowed to have any press there either, not much I can do. Right? But I would still go do my daily live streams, and I'm sure that we'll have no conferences, and that we'll have no, but I would still go and cover it. Plus, I get to go to Europe. I love going. Now, if it's online, I will still cover it locally here, and not locally, like remotely here from home. There's no need for me to travel to Eurovision. But I bought my tickets and all that stuff already, so it kind of sucks. But I don't even. But if they do like the remote version, I mean, they will. I just stay remote as well, I guess. But yeah, that's very hard to really comment on because I don't know yet. But if it's possible for us to go, I will go, unless the EBU says you cannot go. So that's the only thing. Okay, Italy is too long. Which part of the song will you cut? Harvey is saying. Well, I think they can cut the instrumental part. This that can go. I don't think that'll be enough. Maybe they can cut some. Gosh, I have to see how much time. How much time do you have to cut? Like 40 seconds, 30 seconds, something like that. The instrumental may cut maybe 20, so you still have like 10 or 15 seconds to cut. They could maybe cut one of the verses, I think. Because I think they need to keep the chorus intact. Completely. Absolutely. That is my suggestion. I have to really sit down and map it out. But that is my... Since, you asked a question. That's what it is. Okay. PV is saying, Matt, what is your favorite of the Big Five plus host song? Okay, let me bring up that list again. Okay, I have the answer. For the second year in a row, it's probably Italy. I just love Fai Over More. I just love that song. But there are a bunch of other good songs. I really like the Netherlands. I like United Kingdom. So those are all pretty good songs. But if I had to pick a favorite, probably Italy. Probably Italy. Is Grow on your personal playlist, Stefan is saying. I don't even have created a playlist yet, but I like it very much. It's definitely high up in my ranking. This will be either it'll continue the host curse by flopping at Eurovision, or it could be this emotional, amazing moment in Rotterdam on stage and go really high. This is the biggest wild card for me, the Netherlands. I find it insanely interesting, and I hope it's going to do well just because it is so different. And it's, again, not a Eurovision crowd pleaser, but it could be a jury pleaser, and the ordinary viewer could also have an appreciation for it if it comes across well on the Eurovision stage. Could completely go wrong as well. I'm very nervous predicting this one as of right now. I have to wait for the rehearsals. Do you think televote winner gonna be overall winner this year? I really doubt it. Oh, this is tough. I feel since it is such a close race so far that there's a good chance that we will not have, or we'll have another year where the juries and televoters disagree. Last year was like the biggest disagreement ever. And could this happen again this year? Potentially. I could definitely potentially see something happening like that before. So, we'll see. That's at least my opinion. Okay, let's see. We got... Oh, no, it's already 12:30 here. So, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to ask one more question. Do you think that Cyprus will qualify? I like Cyprus very much, actually. It's another question mark for me because it's such a clubhouse song that I have a hard time envisioning on stage. I don't know how they're going to do it. This could completely be out of place for the Eurovision kind of situation. So I can't say I'm as confident about Cyprus qualifying just because it just seems like such an unusual song for the Eurovision stage. If it's done right, it could go well. It is also in the tough semi. So there's a lot of competition this time around. So I'm a little nervous for Cyprus, but I am not counting them out at all. So at least that is what I'm thinking. Anyway, let's just wrap this up here. Again, I'll keep you up to date on this whole COVID-19 thing, and I try, since we're all kind of under lockdown, maybe we can have a midweek live stream to talk about stuff. A lot is going to happen over the next few days, so I'll be back maybe sometime mid next week so we can chat a little more about Eurovision. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. Let's all, we're all in this together. Let's hope for the best. Let's send some positive vibes out to the universe, and hopefully things will work out in our favor. I know it's depressing, I know it's upsetting, and we're all anxious, but keep in mind, let's go for this together. All right, everyone, I'm going to move on for today. Thank you so much for watching. It has been a pleasure. Have a good day or good night for you guys, because I still have a whole day ahead of me.